Hey everybody, it's Yusef Crow and my dog Rusty for CraftyAcuity.org, yusef.crow@gmail.com for commissions. So I thought I would go ahead and post the most recent sketchbook that I finished. I'm a little different than a lot of people who post sketchbooks in that I don't normally use my sketchbook to hatch out ideas anymore. I will post more sketchbooks and you will see what I do with my sketchbooks, obviously. But nowadays, especially the more recent ones, I do kind of finished pieces and I move along. I don't like the idea of actually coloring or making a drawing and getting married to it and not finishing. Don't get me wrong, if you have a piece of art that's just coming out real crappy, just go ahead and toss it. But I normally just rip that out of my sketchbook so I don't have to think about it. But most ideas that I think on, I see to completion just to see how they work out. The reason being is that a lot of times I do artwork and I think I'm failing, but I don't actually fail. When I finish it, it looks better than I thought it would. And had I not kept going and powered through a whole bunch of things, it wouldn't be too good. I mean, there's a couple of pieces of artwork that I finished that I wasn't too fond of, but it got a few likes on my website, which is CraftyAcuity.org. But I definitely would love to share my stuff with you guys, and I definitely would like to know if you like it or not, obviously. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I totally would love your feedback, and I totally would love to talk to you. All right, so without further ado, here's my most recent but first sketchbook in this series. Alright, so this sketchbook is 2014. I don't know if I started in 2014, so we'll say late 2013 to early 2014. What I normally do with my sketchbooks is I draw the stuff in pencil, and by all means I want to use the pencil stuff in a Photoshop piece of artwork, like the artwork of Donald and Goofy, and then the later artwork of Sora I used in a Kingdom Hearts collage that I did. It took me a long time, which I'll show in a second here. But what I normally do is I draw the artwork, and I used to go back and ink it. So there's the Kingdom Hearts thing. I used to go back and ink it, but then what had happened was I found out that I was better at drawing things with pencil, and I didn't really have to ink it as long as I just pushed really hard on the pencil. So I didn't ink the stuff that much unless it's a look I'm going for. And then I just come back and I color things with marker after I had already done it in Photoshop. So it should be a little bit faster once I do it with the marker. Like, I have a little bit more of an idea of what it's supposed to look like, and that way I don't make as many mistakes, I guess. However, not many people see my sketchbooks anyway, and that's why I'm sharing them with you, because I'm pretty proud of them. Alright, I'll move on to talking about danger. There's studies that prove that people's nose can only smell things specific when it's alerting your brain of danger. So if you've been taking a poop in the toilet for a long time, you don't really smell your poop because your brain already registers that that's not dangerous. However, if somebody else would walk in after you walked out, you can blow their nostrils up because basically they know that that your poop is dangerous. But then after they get used to it, it's not dangerous anymore. Well, there's a lot of moments in people's lives where they perceive danger and then they don't understand what danger really is. A lot of the times with the traffic, the danger is it's really apparent, but since cars are cars, you don't register that they're dangerous, but they basically weigh like 10 times more than the normal person, probably more than 10 times, obviously. And when they hit you, they cause real damage. Now, one of the things that used to irritate me a lot is when the person who's walking will see that you're waiting for them, and then they'll run out right in front of your car. And once they get right in front of your car, they'll stop walking, they'll look down, and they'll walk slowly. Or worse yet, the person who has the earphones on, and they just decide to walk right in the road, depending on, pedestrian right-of-way and things like that, which I never really trust as a person who's aware of danger. I don't think that stepping in the road or assuming that the driver actually knows what the hell they're doing, given all the distractions on the road that even I use, that they'll even see me stepping out into the road. And I value my legs and my body way more than I value some sort of big settlement that can happen just based on all that crap. One time I was working at a college, and I saw the issue I have with a lot of colleges is that the kids, they work that rule to the death. Literally, they'll step in the road, and I mean, they know how stupid they are as kids, and other people are as kids. And they'll still step into the road and be idiots. They'll pretend that the other person is all of a sudden really intelligent and paying attention to everything, and that might not be it. When I was working in college, I saw a little girl step into the street without looking. Just head down, walk into the street in between two cars, that were parked, and then just step out there. And then, some kid that was playing with his iPhone or his iPod was walking or driving, and then he just hit the girl, and the girl flipped over in the car and busted the windshield up. Now, of course, when she hit the guy basically stepped out and didn't really care for that person's safety. He really just started caring a little bit more about, whether or not he was going to be charged for hitting somebody point blank. And, whatever. I still think it's the girl's fault for being that stupid and stepping in the road. And even though colleges crack down on those sort of things, doesn't mean that it works for the rest of life. And you think that parents would tell the kids not to be so stupid, but kids do stupid things, I guess. It's something I'm definitely going to teach my kid, to look both ways. I mean, goodness gracious. Another thing that got me was one time I saw a guy on a bike, rolling up using the bike side routes or whatever, and he tried to pass a Yukon that was taking a right turn, and the guy in the Yukon was blaring his music. He didn't even hear anything or see anything, and then the dude in the bike rolls up next to him on the blind spot, and then the guy in the Yukon takes the turn and knocks the guy on the bike clean over. And the guy on the bike jumps up like, "Oh, you son of a bitch, you didn't see me." But, obviously the guy totally didn't notice. I bet you that dude in the Yukon drove all the way home, didn't even know he knocked a dude over. That's how insignificant people on bikes, people walking are. Like, you have to pay special attention to make sure that they're okay. And, what I really hate is that we have to remind drivers all the damn time to look out for people on bikes. But, people on bikes can just roll around and not care about what the hell's going on, Like, more than a few times I've seen people on bikes, signal and ride in traffic, slow traffic down, like they're a part of the traffic. But then when they see an open street and there's a red light, they just roll through the red light like they're the ambulance or something. They look both ways and they're like, oh, I'm a pedestrian today. So 5 seconds ago you were a car. Now you're a pedestrian. It just irritates me. Like, if you don't know who you're going to be, then what the heck's going on? And I'll have people like on Facebook and stuff complain about how people are being treated when they're rolling in bikes and things like that. But, you know, I don't even know what kind of a bike person you are, really. Like, are you a person who rides on the sidewalk or on the side of the road and hopes to not get hit? Or are you one of those douchebags that decides they're going to ride a regular bike on through? Pick one or the other, that way I'd know what to treat you for, and wear a helmet and some knee pads, I guess, if you're planning on being that other guy. Anyway, thanks. It's that no copyright beat. No copyright beat. Like and subscribe, bitch!